What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the H-Town Rundown. This is your boy AD coming in hot with my co-host C Raw, St. John, Mike G, and our special guest, Big Sarge,
Big
in the building.
Sarge.
Hey, what's
what
going
up?
on, y'all?
How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling?
Feeling good, man. Thank you all. First of all, let me say thank you all for having me on. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the pre-show banter. It is amazing. Amazing. And before we get started, let me just make sure that I say this. Everybody that's on the screen right now, all you gentlemen, I respect you so much. I highly respect you because of what you all do. The work that you put in, the amount of work that you put in, the amount of time that you put in when it comes to covering the Houston Texans, man. I appreciate it. I learned so much. You know, that's why every time I see you guys in spaces, I'll come in and, you know, depending on who in there, I may talk, but I'm definitely coming in there to listen because you guys, I mean, you know, I be blown away because, you know, the way that you all study the game, the way that you all see the game from the way that you all see it, the way that you study it, man, it's amazing. So, you know, I ain't got checks for everybody, but, you know, I just want to say, man, y'all doing an amazing job, and I appreciate y'all having me on this show.
Much appreciated, Sarge, and we thank you for everything that you bring content-wise and what you bring to us, insights and everything that you bring to Texan fan base, Rockets fan base, Astros fan base, Houston fan base. We thank you for it all, Sarge.
That's right, man. We love it. We love it when we hear Nick Casario say, "Good question, Sarge." Good question, Big Sarge.
Studio with Chris, you see what I got at the bottom of mine now, don't
Southwest Sarge, baby.
That's right, baby.
Do it
That's
to
right.
it, man. Do it to it. Every time I hear them say your name, bro, I smile a little bit, man. So it's really good. It's really good to see that you're doing good things and big things, Sarge. You also got the program that you just started, Tailgate. What is it called?
Texas Tailgate Talk, man. And I was going to do it just for training camp. That's what I started doing it because, you know, sometimes I'm not going to even lie to you. Sometimes when I leave training camp, I don't get a chance to do the podcast, and I don't get a chance to jump into the spaces to tell people what's going on. And I also have a bunch of the people that I've had on. Those are truly my friends, people I respect and who work hard at their jobs. And so, you know, I wanted to make sure. And there's two things y'all know that we love in Texas: trucks and football. So I combined both of them. And I said, hey, look, what better way? Just sit on the back of the tailgate of my truck and let's have some football talk, and, you know, and you all can get it from, you know, different perspective. Everybody that's been a guest on my show, in which I have a one that's going to be coming out here pretty soon, with Aaron Wilson. I got a chance to talk with Aaron Wilson today from KPRC Channel 2.
Shout out Aaron Wilson.
Yeah, but so that's why sometimes you'll see me in front of the camera. Sometimes you see me behind the camera because I want the fans to be able to get, you know, I want them to focus on whoever's in front of the camera. So, you know, as I digress, man, that came about. I was driving to training camp and I said, you know what, man, I'm just going to talk football from the back of my truck. And so tomorrow on Saturday, after the flag football, they have a social media influencer flag football game at, you know, I think like 1:00 inside of the bubble. And after that, practice is at 5:30. But, you know, I can't do anything without shouting out, you know, former NFL player, former radio host, in the trenches, ND Kalu. And I'm going to have ND. I'm going to have ND on the ND is going to sit on the tailgate tomorrow and talk football. And shout out to ND for getting that preseason analyst job, man. That's tough. He has a Texans OG podcast too. That's really good.
Okay. Hey, y'all be sure to like, share, and subscribe that podcast along with Big Sarge's podcast, Texans Tailgate Talk, and all of his other Big Sarge. I think Big Sarge Sports Podcast, right?
Yeah, they mad about that one. I forgot to tell you about about Aaron Rodgers, but that's another story for another time.
Well, I think a lot of us appreciate how close you are to the game. especially the Texas game at every training camp practice. It's like you go from being that close to the team, and then you'll jump into spaces with some of the little guys around town. And I know you don't consider us little guys, and I know you don't consider the people on Spaces little guys, but to go from that stage that you're on, in that environment that you're in, and share what you've seen personally firsthand with Texas fans is immeasurable. So thank you a bunch for that, Sarge.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you this. Like I said, I gave you all your accolades before, man, and I will keep saying the only difference between people doing what I do and you all is just the platform right now. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. You all put in just as much work as these other people, out there. You put in just as much work, when it comes to talking, Texans football as I do. And I'll never be, I was on a podcast on last night, and they asked me about my journey, and I was like, I started off holding the camera.
Like, friends on the pod. Just Fans podcast. Yep.
Yeah, I started out holding the camera. When I first got into the studio, I was with 8 other people trying to double dutch and get on a mic, and it went from there to me hosting sports shows on that radio station. So, man, the grind and the hustle, it never stops. I try to do as much as I can, and I will never get to a point in this business as far as the media is concerned where I can't give back a talk. And that's what I will say this. I know I'm getting long-winded, but y'all know when y'all brought me on here, I was gonna do a lot of talking. I will say this. The way that I am, Chris, Studiowood Chris, allows me to be able to connect with these players, talk with these players. Yeah. You see how I put it like this. Y'all know how we was talking before this podcast started?
Right.
I be talking to players like that.
Right.
That's real.
I'll be talking to players like that. Like, and I'm not trying to flex or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, because they know, hey, when you talking to me, you talking to me. I ain't trying to get nothing from you and say, look, I done already got the information I'm going to need for the articles, the quotes, this, that, and other. Now let's just chop it up.
How you doing?
Hey, look, and this made people's eyes bigger than silver dollars. Y'all too young to know what that means. Mm-hmm. Old people say that like myself.
Yeah, believe me, I know.
Today, after the press conference, Nico Collins was walking out of the tent. He was walking out of the tent, and I was like, all right, Mr. Collins, I'll holler at you later. And then he's like, all right, Sarge. And then he walked, and then he came back and reached into the tent, dapped me up, and then walked out. And everybody's like, I was like, yeah, because I talk to Nico all the time about a lot of nothing sometimes, and sometimes I talk to these players, and they know that when we're talking, I use discretion. So as I digress, man, I'm one of these people that has a very hard work ethic, who doesn't mind grinding. And, people say, oh, man, you working for free. Well, the knowledge and the experience that I'm gaining is what I've gained is way better than money. So,
well,
so I told you, AD, I like to talk.
Well, so that comment about you working for money, you work for money, working free for like what, 6 years now? You've been doing your grind for 6 years, so if you want to be arguing about it, you the one still sitting there consistently. You've been there. The rest of them been fired and hired, moved around. You still doing what you're doing with your same credentials, and got more credentials and getting more credentials. So who work for free?
And Jules, here go the funny part about it. A lot of these things that I do. Let me just say this. I don't mind. I hope that, I don't want to ruin any relationships that you all have with some of these people who work at these radio stations here, these sports radio stations. So I'll just say the former station that I was at, right? Mm-hmm. Former station that I was at. And I just realized today I was there like 5 or 6 years, right? Mm-hmm. And I never got paid a dime from the actual station. Mm-hmm. But the amount of things, the amount of knowledge that I gain and the wealth that I gain, and the friendship, my friendship with, let me say this. At one point, ND tried to offer me money out of his own pocket. I say, I wish you would. I wish you would try to give me money. Yeah, I promise you. As soon as you put it in my hand, I'm going to drop it on the floor and walk away. Like, you can't give me money because I'm not here for money. I'm here because me and you partners, and I get to kick it with you 6 hours out the week, knowing that those 6 hours, if you wasn't here, you'd be doing something else, and I wouldn't be able to kick it with you. So that's how it was. Greg took me to lunch one day, and he was like, "All right, Sarge, I'm gonna buy you lunch." I said, "The hell you not letting you buy me lunch? I'm buying my own lunch." He said, "Well, Sarge, that's for you coming in, filling in, working with us, and this, that, and other." I said, if at any point in time I said it became a monetary issue for me, then I would have walked away. So,
message. Message.
What's your?
So let's get to the meat and potatoes of the podcast today. And
good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Of course, always. It's training camp. Training camp has been going on for the last week.
Hot as hell.
Yeah, it's been hot as the devil's asshole. It's just because I was out there, me and Jules were out there Sunday, and I'm telling you, it cooked. I felt like a honey baked ham out there. So it's ridiculous hot. And shout out to the Texans for providing this, at least a little shade. Wish they had some fans blowing, but
they gave you a little friend that fan didn't have to work halftime.
Do you know how many times I had to unplug and plug that thing back up just to get a little breeze?
Hey, and don't let your phone black out. Don't let your phone black out. With black out, the power out.
Oh yeah,
but we appreciate the little things and the free water in the back.
Yeah, as we digress, training camp is here for the Houston Texans, and there has been a lot of insight, a lot of different things we've seen, whether it be the training camp darlings of the Nico Collins or the Steven Nelsons or whoever these guys, maybe some underrated guys we haven't seen. And then, of course, you got the offensive line with their issues. We had an injury yesterday. Was it yesterday? Scott Quisenberry tore his ACL and MCL in practice. So shout out, prayers up to Scott Quisenberry. Hopefully he recovers fine. And all it does is move up Juice Scruggs, where everybody thought he was supposed to be in the first place. From being the second round draft pick. So you have that, the drama with the offensive line, and then of course the greatest controversy in 2023 of the Houston Texans is a quarterback controversy of Davis Mills and CJ Stroud. Somebody echoing. Who we got?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Did you ask me a question, AD? Because it actually froze, and so I didn't get a chance to hear the question that you asked me.
It was more of a DJ question.
Okay.
Yeah.
DJ who?
So, hey, DJ.
Oh, okay.
DJ question is not a question. DJ questions is a statement. Let's move on. Sorry. So we brought you in, man. What are your thoughts about training camp so far? And what are your thoughts about, who do you have as your training camp darlings, and maybe what the coaches are saying or really appreciating from these players, certain players in this camp?
Well, I will say this. It is a delight and it is joyful, and I'm not gonna even lie. Man, the energy. It's just the energy has changed. It went from, and I was laughing about this because when David Culley held his first training camp, he said he didn't even know he was the head coach and he was supposed to be the one in the middle speaking. And I said, "What? Wait,
right?
What?" He said he was waiting on the head coach to come. Last year, Lovie Smith was playing Love and Happiness by Al Green the whole time. And I was like, bro, you got 19, 20, 21-year-old. Look, they hear that. They don't know nothing about that. If they hear that, they saying, oh, man, I wonder what my grandmama and them doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So she was playing Love and Happiness. They was hearing hate and sadness.
Right. You're right here playing jazz, Miles Davis, and I'm just saying, like, so the last two training camps, and then also, when David Culley was here, you had the whole Deshaun Watson, stuff that was going on. But I will say this, man, with D'Amico being here, he has re-energize, the fan base, and not only the fan base, but these players. And so now they come to the field, with it looks like they enjoy coming to work now instead of having to come to work like they did the last 2 seasons. Wow. You can see the joy. The joy in playing football. They said that you get paid a king's ransom to play a child's game, a kid's game. It seems like now they're like, yeah, we want the money. Of course, Steve Nelson. You want the money, but you also now they're out there just having fun. And I will say this: I will sound like a broken record because I've said it. Plenty of other media members who have been out at training camp has said it. The fans who have been in the stands have said it. The number one person, my training camp darling starting at number 1 is Jalen Petrie.
Jalen Petrie.
Man, listen. Wow. And you know what? I asked Denzel Perryman today, had he ever been around a second-year player who talks as much trash and so competitive, and plays with so much aggression. And he said, yeah, Max Crosby. He said, I played with a guy named Max Crosby. I'm pretty sure y'all know him. He said, it's the exact same way. And he said, but I love it because I can hear him on the back end. He said, I don't do a lot of talking. I let my pass do the talking. He said, but I can hear him and I love it. And I will say there hasn't been a rep that Jalen Petrie has been involved in that he hasn't gone. Like every rep is 100 for him. Ain't no taking that. So I'll put it like this. I'm a side note just for a second. You remember how Kevin Garnett used to play? Mm-hmm. There was a time when Kevin Garnett when Kevin Garnett was with the Brooklyn Nets, he was hurt. And they told him, hey, you can't practice. So what he did was he got on the side and went and ran practice from the side. So whatever they was doing, he was doing it too. Because he doesn't know how to stop when it's time to work.
Take a break.
Jalen Petrie is the exact same way. Yesterday, they were doing drills, and Jonathan Joseph was supposed to be the receiver. Jonathan Joseph is, being a receiver. Jalen Petrie is running side by side with him, bumping him and talking trash. Talking about, hey, come on, old man, when you gonna get back out here? You think you still got it? And Jonathan Joseph is cracking up because he loves it. So, he has stood out to me so much because even today, man, you could just his voice, you can hear it. He's gotten to the point now where he's calling out the formations, he's calling out the plays on certain plays. Now Bobby Slow does trick him sometimes, but man, that guy has been standing out for me. There's another player that on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to talk
before you go to that, Sarge. How does Petrie click with Jimmy Ward?
They twins.
They twins, right?
They are twins. Both of them
talk a lot of noise,
and both of them play with their hair on fire.
Back it up, yes, sir.
And so that's when Dalton Schultz got hurt in practice last week.
Ooh, that was a hell of a hit, boy.
And I said. And I was like, I know they told Jimmy not to hit it. Jimmy, I know they told you. Any of y'all, look, I watch a lot of movies. I don't know. Have any of you all ever seen the movie Devil in the Blue Dress?
Yes.
You remember Don Cheadle played Mouse from Houston, right?
Yes, yeah.
You remember at the end of the movie when they had the guy in the car and Denzel Washington said, hey, he said, wait a minute, I'll be right back, right? And he said, Mouse, don't shoot him. So then Denzel left and he came back and he's like, hey, where the guy at? And he's like, well, you told me not to shoot him, so I stabbed him. Yeah. If you didn't want him dead, why you leaving with me?
Right? Why you leaving with me?
You didn't want him dead, why you
That's
leaving
Jimmy Ward.
Right.
That's Jimmy Ward.
Right. Jimmy Ward, like, if you didn't want him hit, why did you send him on the route?
Right.
If you didn't want him hit, you should have sent him on the route. So he's talking trash. You can hear Jalen Petrie is talking trash to Davis Mills and the CJ. He'd be like, hey man, you can try that shit somewhere else. I hear. Wow. Yeah,
wow.
so
Wow.
man, that 1-2 combination duo, if they can play the way that they're supposed to play in D'Amico's system, man.
Now I know you're gonna go somewhere with another guy, but I just to stay on the trash talking
Junior got sold.
thought. We had on the trash talking thought. Is Denzel Perryman that type of guy?
No. That's what he said today. He said, I'm not a trash talker.
Okay.
I let my pads do the talking.
So I know off the field he's a good talker.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Man,
have you
on the field, he doesn't run away from contact either.
No.
Man,
yeah.
Have you seen
he got in trouble today,
though. Sarge, how does Petrie and Stingley click?
Oh, they best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've said it on more than one occasion.
Patrick.
Oh, for sure. They are they joined at the hip, which is really good for the Houston Texans and really good for the Houston Texans defensive side of the ball, because if you got Stingley playing the way that he should be playing, especially in D'Amico's system, then with Petrie behind him, he's going to make his job so much easier. Be like, hey, look, I got him, especially now that they're going to take him out of that antiquated Tampa 2 zone and let him play the way he's supposed to be able to play. So now Stingley is just going to be like, all right, man, I'm supposed to, do what I'm supposed to do. And I will say this, and, I know y'all may have seen it a little bit too. Hey, look, what D'Amico is doing with Petrie and using his strength is he's bringing him down into the box sometime too. Bringing him down in the box, single high safety. That's how much confidence he has in Steven Nelson and Derek Stingley.
Wow. Wow.
But that was Jalen Petrie's bread and butter at Baylor.
What's that?
Being in the box.
In the box. On the line of scrimmage. He's a devil on the line of scrimmage. So, that was the biggest takeaway. That was part of my criticism on him, is that he played too much in the box. He was almost like a linebacker.
Yeah, it was like 75-85% of the
he was on the line of scrimmage, yeah.
And just like I said the other day,
was it more than that, Mike?
I don't think it was that much.
It wasn't that much.
No,
I thought he only had like
it was a little much, but it wasn't that much.
it was around 43%, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me exaggerate a little bit, Mike.
Nah, it was like 43%. He was in the box area, not the line of scrimmage, but in the box area, around 43%.
Okay,
that sounds about right.
But I know it was to the point where people said, "How can he play deep safety? He's never played deep safety." There's a lot of people that was wondering how was he going to fit, and I just think when you got an athlete like that who lives and breathes football, you're going to be able to put him anywhere, and he's going to succeed. So.
And Chris, you know what? It's so crazy because you hit the nail on the head. Like there was an event that he had during Super Bowl. He had to do an appearance at a Verizon Wireless store off of 290.
Okay.
And so
that's over there by me.
Yeah, before we got a chance to really start talking to him and interviewing him, I was like, hey man, so what you been doing? He's like, missing football. I said, what?
Yeah.
He's like, man, I'm ready to play right now.
Yeah.
He said, I feel like I should still be playing football right now. I want to play football right now. So then he took the shot at Toyota Center, right? Remember that first shot at the Rockets at the Toyota Center?
Yes, sir.
I said, hey man, how you been enjoying your offseason? Know what he said? Missing football, ready to play some football. He says he loves to hit people.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yes,
you can see it. When he conversates about the game, he don't even want to talk about it. He just wants to play it.
Wait, Chris, hold on, wait. Did you just try to do math again a few minutes ago?
45 to 75% is the same thing. What is 75% of 45%?
My bad, man.
Hey, that's one big ass rounding up.
Well, I forgot to carry the 3, man.
But I will say this too, man. Another player that has been standing out to me outside of Xavier Hutchinson, and I'll talk about him briefly in a second. Hey, listen.
Oh, hey, he's getting excited.
I like it.
Why nobody told me about Mike Boone? How come y'all didn't tell me about him?
You talking about, I thought he was Herman Boone's son.
That's because Jules wants Singletary to get 1,200 yards.
Well, he know the system because he was in Minnesota 2 years ago, so he know the system better than Rex does.
We should clarify, not 1,200 total yards, 1,200
rushing yards.
Who?
That's
Jules.
what
Singletary.
Yeah, that's what Jules said. Singletary.
Jules said Devin Singletary will rush for over 1,200 yards this year.
Let me clarify.
Now ask him about his man.
No. Don't be trying to clean it up. You done made a mess. Now you're trying to wipe it up. We ain't got no cooker picker uppers over here. No.
Yeah, man.
That's what happened when you get him out of Indiana.
Y'all gonna call me out. Let me myself. I said he's a better fit for this system, for this one cut system, than old big bowling ball DP. I said he can thrive in this system. That's what I said. And I said 1,200 yards. I really said 1,100 when y'all were trying to climb me so hard.
No, Jules. I'm not gonna let you get on this podcast and lie.
Come on, man.
I up here and you said 1,200 yards. It's on Jules. It's recorded.
We got the same.
We said total yards. You said no rushing.
Rushing yards.
Mike, y'all hear me 10 toes down? Damn it, I said it.
Yep, that you right, Sarge. You need to drink some more water. He was
drink some more water.
That day.
He wasn't ready.
1,200 yards. Jules, first of all.
Hold on, Sarge. He done got 800 yards and back-to-back season with an offense that does not produce to run or try to run as much as possible. Now he's in a run-first offense that gives multiple backs 1,000 yards. I said, yes, I'm a little high. Yes, I exaggerate a little bit. But I said kicking at 1,200 yards. I think he can outgain what he did in Buffalo.
But wasn't he the lead back in Buffalo? He ain't the lead back here.
Right. Hell, right now, nobody lead back because it's a new system.
He RB2 for sure, bro.
Jules, you talk to him. Don't talk to me.
Hey, look. You're the same fans that wanted Bijan as a number one running back when they had the pick. Let's not split the game up.
Jules, can I
forget this is
1,200? You say 1,200?
Let me say this, Jules.
1,200.
Let me say this, Jules. First of all, Damian Pierce is in the best shape I've ever seen him in. He came into camp. Actually, he's lost weight and he's gotten quicker. He's lost. He said, "I lost that baby fat and added muscle." He looks good, and he's quicker because he has lost that weight. He has shedded some of that body fat. So
here's my only question.
It's not like Lopez.
My question is: he still gonna run the contact? Because that's what in him. That's that dog from Florida in him. You see, if he gonna run for contact, hold on. If he gonna run for contact, then he don't fit the system because the system don't run the contact. The system is bounced outside, open lanes. Am I wrong? Just tell me if I'm wrong or right.
You said the system is designed to do what?
It's not to run the contact. It's open gaps, open zones. He runs the contact because he loves the.
He's a good one cut. He's a one cut back.
Who one cut back?
You know what makes him a good? Yes, you know what makes him a good one cut back? That toe is kind of cut in.
The pigeon toe, man. He gonna take that one step. He gonna go straight up field.
Hey, listen. Damian Pierce has come into camp in the best shape that I've ever seen him in. I'm talking about from Florida till now. Second thing is he is not running. He's not shying away from the contact, but he's also more explosive, hitting the holes now, and especially when he's running behind what's the
Andrew Beck?
Titus Howard and Mason. Yeah, when he running behind them, he hitting them holes. And once they bring Kenyon Green up to speed, once he gets back, fully healthy, then that's going to be. I put it like this: I don't see 1,200 yards for Singletary only because Singletary at Buffalo, right? You also got to take into account that you had to design a scheme to also stop Josh Allen, who's a running quarterback, who's a second running back.
Sure.
So when you got to design it, you got to worry about him. They're more worried about stopping him than they are stopping Singletary.
Right.
In this offense, with this team, they ain't got nobody that's gonna really take the ball down and run. CJ ain't gonna. CJ got that deceptive type speed, like he's fast in bursts, but they're not gonna scheme for him to stop him. So a lot of times, wasn't Singletary being able to benefit from Josh Allen?
Correct.
To me, I think they did more running plays to pump up Allen's MVP chase than actually run defense, win the game. My thing, they took win the game because he knew he was so dynamic that he could win the game, that they took chances away from the running backs to actually play football, to get him more rushing yards, to get him more ESPN looks and more highlights. Or he'll run 2 yards and run tough. When you got 3 capable running backs to do the exact same thing, you play the game. They was trying to pump his MVP type numbers up.
But Jules, I will say this: have you ever? And I'm really asking this question: have you seen Singletary in person?
He's another guy.
He's a little dude.
Not in person. I have not.
I've seen him do on last Sunday.
He's a little
Mike. Don't jump in there, Mike.
I mean, not only an NFL guy, but an NFL draft guy and a fantasy guy. Like, there were many Sundays where I'm like, oh, go. Like, especially late in the season where, like, each of the last 2 seasons, Devin Singletary has kind of come on strong in the fantasy aspect of it. And I swear there will be 17, 18 plus straight passing plays. And you're like, what are you doing? Are you trying to ruin me today? Like, what is going on? And then they'll give him a carry and he goes 20 yards for a touchdown. Yeah.
Correct.
Why did you completely abandon the run? I understand, hey, you lean pass heavy. You got Josh Allen. Obviously, he's a rushing threat. But, like, it's been 20 plays since you've called a run, and he's been extremely efficient. It's not like he's getting 2.2 yards a carry. He's extremely efficient, and he's a very quality pass catcher. He's a quality rusher. This is not a game-changing acquisition that we've got, but he is a quality running back, and
with a better O-line and a better offensive scheme that fits.
Are we better than Buffalo's O-line?
Dude, let me say this. I don't care how you cut this cookie. I don't care how you cut it, brother. It ain't happening.
He's still RB2.
But y'all can't
put
1,200 total is possible.
Y'all can argue with me. Y'all can argue with me about the yardage, but you can't argue about my football take.
But that was your point. Was the 1,200?
You was
third down back. He's going to be.
Mike, you did just help his argument, though.
Thank you. He did.
By letting everybody know the facts, and the facts were the Buffalo in the third and the fourth quarter went away from the run a lot of times.
They do, but Pierce is still RB1.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
but
unless you're counting on a Pierce injury,
but think about this too. Think about this, Mike G. When you watch San Francisco, they ran 4 running backs
because none of them can stay healthy.
They ran
McCaffrey for the first time ever stayed healthy,
but it wasn't that reason. You had Jeff. What was his name?
Jeff Wilson. But he went to Miami.
But I'm just saying, every year they had at least 3 or 4 running backs, and I know they didn't stay healthy. But that's how they was running them. They was rotating.
You know who else had a lot of running backs? The 2006 to 2010 Houston Texans had a lot of running backs too. And they would throw somebody out there and you're like, who the hell is that? They have a 100-yard game.
Hey, I bet you Jules thought that Lamar Miller was going to rush for 1,800.
1,800.
He got 1,800.
2,000. In my defense, I did. But I told Chris for years, Bill O'Brien is the worst coach for himself. How do you run a speed back dive
up the middle every time
out of here, but you don't call him one? The first time you want to call a stretch play, you get the motherfucker out for blue.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen this year because Dameon Pierce is RB1. Singletary is going to get his touches, but he's definitely so. The one thing that Singletary does way better than what Pierce does is catch.
Yeah,
Pierce is trying to learn how to catch, man. But sometimes
it's like fighting water.
He's fighting the ball for real. Like sometimes
he's fighting water.
He got feet for hands.
Yep. Right. So now I will another person.
Is he pitching hand too?
Hold on, Mike. What you got? Is he pitching hand?
I got a couple of questions. One, how is our boy Valladay doing?
Yes,
I like Valladay.
Hey, shout out to Corey Barrett on that one.
Yeah,
he called him out before the draft.
Israel,
I feel a butt coming. I feel a butt coming with Sarge.
No, that wasn't no butt. That's just recognition.
In the words of Killer Cal, would you say that was a comma, not a period?
But I did jump on it once he got here, baby. I did jump on it once he got here. But no, Barrett recognized that kid before the draft started.
He did.
And thank God we scooped him up. But what did he look like, Sarge?
He doesn't look bad. He's a big back.
He's big.
He's big. He's like what's the guy that they got out of Denver last year? Running back.
You talking about Mike Good?
No. Last year.
I can't remember his name,
Lindsay, but not Philip Lindsay. That was
Lindsay.
No. It was the other guy that he was a big back. I can't remember his name right now either, but he's big like that, and so he's getting his touches. He's doing a lot of. He's not getting a lot of touches on of course, not with the first team.
Sure.
And late second team reps, third team reps for sure. But I think Mike Boone is getting more reps than he is right now. That's why I'm starting to notice, like, wow, this guy can really move. But
the system.
So he's just not gonna lose his spot like that.
No, he's not. He's probably gonna make the team and be a special teams guy because he is big. And I don't know how good he can block. I haven't noticed. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so you think we carry 4?
Depends.
And I know it's early. It's real early to be asking.
Right. Depends on what Frank Ross needs as far as running back. Special teams is concerned.
Yeah. I got you.
So let me say this: we don't need no specific special team players because we don't had too many of them guys. I need somebody.
We got about 25 last year.
I don't need nobody that's hella five special teams player and can't do nothing in your position. I don't need
Who was that last year, AD?
I don't need no more Eric Murrays.
No more Eric Murrays.
I don't need no more. I don't need.
How does he make the team, Big Sarge? Does he make the team?
So depending on what Frank Ross needs on the special team.
Politics.
Yeah. Hey, look, I will say this though.
You already got Harrison, the fullback. He gonna be on the roster because he's gonna be a super.
Harrison got hurt. Harrison is out.
He's gonna be out for a minute too.
Yeah. Hey, what about Chris's X Factor?
Hold on. Let me say this about Harrison. I saw the injury. No, I saw the injury with Harrison, and we all thought that he bumped knees. And we thought that was the injury. We had no idea it was his back.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, his back. Well, now hold on. With that being said, though, that's what I was going to bring. With another one of my training camp darlings is Andrew Beck.
Yeah,
Andrew Beck. I was going to ask you earlier about him.
Yeah, Andrew Beck is one of those guys. They're not going to miss Troy Hairston not being there.
Yeah.
And listen, hold on, don't get me wrong. I like Troy Hairston, especially for a guy who's a converted linebacker into fullback. But hey, man, listen, they can do more with Andrew Beck than they can with Hairston. Like they can run him out of the backfield, they can put him on the line to block, they can send him out into pass, out and run some routes. He can catch too. He doesn't mind. He can catch. He doesn't mind catching. And he don't mind contact.
Mike, what you say? That was my X factors.
That was one of your breakout candidates, and I was a little skeptical. I chose him as a joke, and then as proof that we didn't really dig deep in the pre-show. You're like, no, that's my actual breakout candidate.
That's my guy, man.
Okay.
The way he blocks is like wide receivers that jump up for the ball, that go up and get the ball. Like if you throw a ball around a guy who's a go-getter, that's how he gets blocks. Like he's looking for the seal block. He's looking for the wham block. He's looking to hold the containment on the edge. And when you got somebody like that in front of any one of these running backs, it's gonna be a good year, baby.
12 yards, Singletary.
1,200.
Jules, I need you to stop acting up in front of company, Jules.
Jules, Big Sarge, I don't think he know math either.
Can we do my camp, darling? Kirksey, how my boy Kirksey doing?
Jules, if you don't get up this, Jules.
Everybody just log off. There
Jules,
you go. Jules had to go.
Jules had to get in timeout.
He was in timeout for that one.
But Jules also just made it home, so we know he got a nice pot of rice-a-roni waiting on him.
Some mayonnaise sandwiches.
Kirksey, he there, man. We can't just.
Yeah, he's there. He's there. He's there at camp. He's in attendance. Yes, you're right. He's there. And don't get me wrong. I like Kirksey, but I will say this, man.
See?
You like him?
Tua is on his heels.
Right.
Christian, you know what Christian Kirksey has against everybody else? He has them very, very pretty white veneers and that very, very sharp, clean edge up, you know, and that media darling smile and that, you know, he's very, very eloquent when he talks and he, you know, is very, very charming. You know, he has that over all the linebackers. And I think
who's the starting three right now? If we had to start right now, who's the starting three linebackers?
Christian Harris.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm gonna let y'all do it. I'm gonna agree or disagree.
Right now,
Denzel in the middle.
Yeah.
Denzel in the middle. And Tua on the other side. That's what I would do.
I would say Blake Cashman.
Blake Cashman. There we go.
I like Blake Cashman.
Yeah. I haven't heard nothing about Corey Littleton.
Him?
I don't think I've seen him.
Is he hurt?
I don't remember seeing him, but I will say this. I do like so the one thing that I have, like, first of all, I like Blake Cashman. I honestly and truly like him. But it's too much. He doesn't stack enough days for me. He'll flash, and then next thing you know, like he's flashed, and then they had that off day and come back, and I'm like, hey man, is Blake out here? Because I don't see him.
So you don't mean stack and shed, you mean stack consistent days. Yes. Okay. Yes. So he'll stack consistent days, and then he'll disappear, and then he'll come back, and I'm like, Tua is stacking these days. Perriman is stacking these days. Perriman got cussed out today. And I talked to him about it too, and he said, "Hey, look, I understand." By his the Clark, I think, is the linebackers coach. Hold on, give me 1 sec. I said Clark. Chris Kiffin. He got cussed out. He got cussed out by Chris Kiffin because he had an interception on CJ. Which we'll talk about CJ in a minute. He had an interception on CJ, right? Yeah. Could have had a second interception, but he went for the hit instead of going for the ball. And Kiffin was like, "What the hell are you doing? Go for the ball." He's like, "I was trying to get the hit, coach." And he's like, "Hell no, take the ball." Then he turned around to the other linebackers and like, "Hey man, what the hell are you doing? Y'all take the if there's an opportunity for you to take the ball, take the damn ball." And then he started hollering at Jake Hansen again. So what was we talking about?
Denzel in the middle. Who you got on the right side? Do you think Tua scratches the surface?
I thought
he's the middle. He's the middle linebacker.
Is he a middle linebacker?
Tua's middle. Yeah.
Okay, so
Denzel ain't no outside either.
What'd you say, Mike?
So Toto is in the middle as a backup, right?
Right. This year.
Right. Littleton is on the outside, probably as a backup, right?
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't been paying attention to Littleton at
all. Let me say this: the fact that you said that, Sarge, because I was at practice and I didn't even see him. I saw Jake Hansen, I saw Tua, I saw all these other linebackers. I could not pick out Corey Littleton, and I'm telling you,
I haven't seen 42 make any plays.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a casualty, y'all. I hate to break
Yeah.
hate to break it early, but the fact that he was supposed to be this veteran coming in and he's been,
that goes back to my free agency situation. I feel like they really wanted that damn Al Shaziz. They went and they didn't sign him, and I think they settled for Perriman and Corey Littleton.
I think they would have really signed him if they really thought he was the guy.
I don't know, man.
I don't want to back up, and I know you half-jokingly said it, but like the religious aspect.
Yeah. No. Let's not even talk about that.
Okay, sure. But like Perriman is a good linebacker, and he's versatile. He can play at any of the three spots.
Sure.
Assuming he's healthy, he's a significant upgrade.
Significant
we had right there. But like, are we really going to be stuck with Kirksey starting?
Outside linebacker, yes.
How outdated would that question be? Is that just a question you wouldn't?
But you know what though? Hold on. In all honesty, in all fairness, D'Amico played the position. Right. Anybody can get something out of Kirksey and teach him. It's D'Amico. And so I don't want to just say, of course, based off the past and what Kirksey has done, but sometimes having a new voice, sometimes having and I'm not trying to give you a politically correct answer, but what I'm saying is, sometimes the mindset, having just a fresh mindset, having someone who's played the position, played the game at the highest level can teach him to show him things on film that he hadn't seen. So, I don't just want to count Kirksey out because, he hasn't been practicing. So I don't know, what his injury is, but I feel like you got to at least give him a chance. Come on, Montero. I'm sorry. You got to at least give him a chance to play in D'Amico's system just to see. So I don't want to count him out just yet. But before we
I want to.
I know
yes. He runs away from contact at every opportunity.
Christian Kirksey has been a thorn in my side for the last 2 years. Watching these Texans with David Culley and God doggone Lovie Smith, I'm ready for Christian Kirksey to get the hell up off.
2 coaches that are not D'Amico.
Yes,
I understand. Shooting out of our eyes.
Hey, I said
this out of our eyes.
I said this too. If D'Amico Ryans can make Christian Kirksey a player, I don't want to hear nobody else defending Lovie Smith and saying it wasn't that bad. He wasn't that bad. If D'Amico can make Christian Kirksey look like a player, all that talk about Lovie Smith need to just go down the drain.
And give that man the Nobel Peace Prize too.
Hey, Lovie Smith is a great man. Yes. Lovie Smith is a great man. He's a legend in the game for his defense and his scheme. But at this point in time, Lovie Smith is not a great head coach.
No. Let me say this before we move on. To another one of my camp darlings, Jacob freaking Martin.
Yes.
Listen, let me tell you something. I've never seen anybody, and I'm being honest with you. I watched this game a long time. And Chris, maybe you can correct me on this. But when is the last time?
Long as it ain't a math question.
Right. When is the last time you've seen, and this is for anyone of you, when is the last time you've seen somebody get off the ball that quick? I think it's almost like Jacob knows the snap count. The way that he comes off the ball, he's so quick, and he doesn't allow linemen to put their hands on him. And so he's off the line and, in the backfield or whatever they're doing. Like I can't name a person that I've seen come off the ball on the defense side of the ball that quick. And he is just, every time you look around, 45, 45, 45, 45. You're like, damn, how he get back there? And they put in, sometimes they put in a package of him and Will Anderson, and it's almost like they're meeting in the backfield.
So like
that's until a real game start. Then he disappears.
Oh, not Jacob Martin.
Jacob Martin, yes. That's why he keep bouncing around.
Hey, It's funny.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on. What you say, Mike?
You saying like Troy Polamalu?
Oh,
his get off.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that, Sarge. I was reading earlier John Harris's, I believe it was 8 points or 6 points or whatever it was. I don't know if you guys follow him or listen to him much. See y'all laughing.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, right? He said the same. One of the same things that you said. It says D-line Jacob Martin has not only not lost his juice as a pass rusher, but he seems to be even more quicker and more adept since returning to the Texans. He's always been a guy that can flash the speed combined with his Cartier of moves off the edge, but he's seemingly even quicker.
His what of moves?
His cadre of moves.
Oh, the line.
Cartier.
The line.
He did. Hey, Scarborough education coming out. Hey, this Scarborough education coming out, man.
Yeah, he threw a spin move today that just wow. I really could do nothing but just say wow. I guess he's got his speed back.
To who? The backup tackles?
Nah, let me tell you this, Jules.
He going up against some of the first team too.
Jules, you saw him beat the hell out of Titus Howard a few times on Sunday. You saw it. You ain't want to admit it, but you saw it, and that was in team. He was whooping Titus' ass.
Hey, wait, hold on. Can I ask 2 questions?
Right.
Can I ask 2 questions real quick?
Go ahead.
One, hey, Jules, have you had an edible? 1,200 yards for Singletary, and now you want to talk about Jacob Martin?
Okay. So when he was here last time, let's just be honest. When he was last time, he was situational. He was a situational play. He's always been a situational pass rusher. He has never been a starter.
So look,
he's not a starter.
But Jules,
he was starter here because we're sorry.
So I'll put it like this: who was the last defensive coordinator he played for when he was here?
Was it
Purnell?
Yeah,
was it Rat?
Oh no, it was
When they Lovey?
It was Lovey because Lovey was here 2 years.
It was Lovey with David Culley.
But what's he done the last 2 years when he wasn't with the Texans?
It wasn't bad. If you're looking for sacks, if you're judging him off sacks, you're never going to get an argument from me on that. But I don't look at him as somebody that I want that's going to make sacks. He's somebody that disrupts the backfield. Mm-hmm. He's someone that puts pressure on he makes your quarterback uncomfortable because he's in the area. He may not get the sack, but he's in the area, and not only is he in the area, he's like a pest when he's in that area because he gets there and then the lineman will adjust and then he'll make another move. And so all this commotion is going around while the quarterback is trying to make a decision on who to throw the ball to, but he's still seeing all of this like the Tasmanian devil on the side of him. And so that's valuable as well when you're talking about
situational pass rusher.
But
let me say this, because you said what has he done? It's only been 1 year. Like he went to New York and he got hurt in New York, and they moved on. So it's only been 1 year, but since he's been with the Texans and he's back, and he was hurt in that year. So I mean, you gotta give him some grace, man. The boy made some plays, and hell, he made some plays in the very last Houston Texans playoff game.
Yeah. Well, my thing about it is,
Mike.
Well,
you were raving about his ability to like make plays off the snap. So I was like, is this like Troy Polamalu-esque? And also, if so, we need to send a jersey over to Jordan Pun.
My question to you guys is: it seems like we have a lot of the same defensive end player, the same style, the same situational guy. I mean, he like what's his name is definitely a situational player, huh?
What's one saying?
Who? Jerry Hughes?
No, Jacob Martin, Jerry Hughes.
No.
Chase Winovich.
No.
All of these guys
none of them do the same.
None of them are real run stoppers. Give me one run stopper on this squad.
Will Anderson.
We will see. We'll see if he's a run stopper.
We know.
We'll see if he's a run stopper. That's one run stopper. Give me another guy that's over 260.
Jonathan Grenard is not bad against the run.
He's not.
Yeah, but he's not no run stopper.
Great, but he's
not a run stopper. He's not a 4-3 run. Listen, those guys are good in the pass rush, but when you get to coming on third down, who you gonna put out there? You're gonna put Hughes out there. You're gonna
who was San Francisco's run stopper?
Well, I'm just saying, you got Bosa. Kirkland, whatever the other guys on there. They stopped the run.
I think he was a run stopper.
They do stop the run, but they don't have any particular. This is our run stopper.
They had a combination of guys. Charles Menu and
listen, man, you're gonna need a bigger, nastier defensive end at some point.
Chris, that's why they got Dylan Horton.
That's why they have the mantra.
He's a deep
that's why they have the mantra of swarm. Yeah, they're all running. They're all getting to the ball. They're all getting to the ball. So you don't need a elite run stopper. You just need somebody to hold him up or somebody.
Well, meet me at the all 22, y'all.
Hey, they're gonna put Jacob Bart on the left side. Don't worry about it.
Let me say this. So who?
Jacob Bart. They can put Jacob Bart on the other side of Will Anderson. Don't worry about it.
He's fine.
I feel like I'm getting secondhand smoke from Jules.
Let me say this.
He had the fastest get off he ever seen.
So no, he ain't say ever seen. Sarge did not say that. Not putting words in his mouth. Don't do that. Not on this podcast. I know you want to do it on the spot.
And pause.
Yeah, right? Pause. Big pause. Let me say this, Sarge. Do you have any more darlings? Because we got to get to the villains of training camp.
No, I mean, listen, I could talk about Xavier Hutchinson, but everybody's already talked about Xavier Hutchinson. I could tell you what I've seen from Tank Dell and Mechie, but everybody, like, you can listen. You turn on the radio right now.
Hey, Mike is got big. We said Mechie. That's his guy. Mike is Alabama Roll Tide through and through.
Listen, and people shit on my mock drafts. I had Mechie going to the Texans in every single mock draft. So what you got on Mechie?
Well, hey, listen, first of all, that guy is a route technician. Mm-hmm. He can run routes. I don't know how good he's going to be because of what he's coming off of, and he doesn't have his legs up under him yet. And so he's still getting acclimated. Like, he's still getting acclimated to NFL football speed. Because he hasn't played football in how long? When did he tear his ACL?
Last year at Bama.
Yeah, so he hasn't played football in a very long time, and you can't just come off. You can't just never play football in the NFL and then step in and be great. So it's going to take him a little time to get used to being back. But watching him run routes, that young man is going to be special. He's one of those guys that can just, he's going to. I put it like this: he's going to be to CJ Stroud what he was to Bryce Young. What he was to Bryce Young is exactly what he's going to be for CJ Stroud. And if you all remember the camaraderie the camaraderie and the connectivity, the communication that they had him and Bryce Young didn't actually get on the same page till after they lost to A&M. Before they lost to A&M, now AD, don't do that. Look, let me see your hands, because I said A&M. Let me see your hands. Make sure you ain't, like Mike doing over there with talking about Alabama. But after they lost to A&M that year, those two got on the same page and they took off. And so once they can get together, I feel like it's going to be good. Mike, I got an article coming that I'm going to need you to read. It's called Houston Roll Tide Texans.
Oh,
hey.
I'm a like and share. You know it. Mm-hmm. Hey, we tried to make Roll Texans a thing after the draft, and people like Lindsay were like, oh, hell no, get that shit out of here. But with D'Amico and Mechie and let's go, Christian Harris, let's go.
Tua.
That's right.
You did mention the big name of camp. That was CJ Stroud.
But hold on, dude. That we got a whole topic for that. Let's talk about the villains of training camp. Well, the villain of Texans training camp. And then you spoke about A&M, Sarge. Let's talk about Kenyon Green is getting the villain treatment that Davis Mills got last year, that Deshaun Watson got the year before. He has been picked out as the villain of Texans training camp this year. Let's talk about this offensive line and with the injuries and the multiple signings and the Kenyon Green of it all.
Well, I will say this.
Say it from your chest, AD.
one of the strongest groups for the Texans is their offensive line. But this is where it gets tricky. This is where it gets really, really, really tricky. The strength is in the starters. The backups, not so much. Not so much. Some of those guys, I'm looking at them like, whoa, what are we doing here? So, Kenyon Green, right? Let's get to Kenyon Green.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's almost like people on social media, on Texans Twitter, on the airwaves, they're making Kenyon the bad guy in lieu of not talking about somebody else. Like they may want to talk about another player, and it's like, nah, let's just pick on Kenyon Green. Let's talk about what Kenyon Green did last year. And Chris and I had this conversation, and he helped me out. Chris always helps me out with this. And AD, I know you agree too, but I go to Chris because he can rattle him off like that. Kenyon Green last season played against some of the best defensive tackles in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
He was, and they were supposed to do him the way that they did him because they are the best at their positions. And when you're not getting any help as a rookie from your center, which, by the way, side note, you know what? You know who I'm blaming for. You know who I'm blaming for the downfall of Kenyon Green? Justin Britt.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
that's who I'm blaming. Because I don't understand. I still don't know why he couldn't play no more. Why he just I haven't seen Justin Britt since the last time he was on the field. And so a veteran center like Justin Britt, who has played in the league, and he wasn't the best, but by the same token, he would have helped out Kenyon Green a lot. So a lot of times Kenyon was left on the island. Of course, we got that. He is a rookie learning how to play in the NFL and against men who are saying to themselves, I am going to impose my 25, 26-year-old body on your 19-year-old, your 20-year-old body.
Yeah.
I am going to treat you like I'm going to grab you and I'm going to use my years of strength and conditioning in the NFL. And I'm going to show you that no matter how much money the A&M alums spend on the weight room, you ain't got it. Sorry.
Not yet.
Not yet. So, and then he has an injury. He has to have surgery in the offseason. He doesn't participate in OTAs because he's still recovering. And now that he's back, he's not stacking days just yet because he's getting acclimated to being back, but he doesn't look as bad as these radio hosts are trying to make him. So let me say this. And
one particular, where's one TV radio in particular?
And then I think that one y'all talking about is getting his info from, the Texans legend, the Texans Twitter legend.
I'm gonna say this is sometimes when I listen to Houston Sports Radio, I know I can instantly pick it up. Oh, somebody got to play the good guy. Somebody got to play the bad guy. Mm-hmm. Somebody has to push this out and troll and do this, that, and the other because of what you're trying to do with the fan base. They do it all the time with Dusty Baker. All the time with Dusty Baker. They did it all the time with Steven Silas. So with that being said, Kenyon Green, I don't expect him to be as bad as he was last year as a rookie, and I mean bad by still learning the game. He's going to go up, more and more. And having a player like Shaq Mason there is definitely going to help him to understand how to play the position. Because listen, as much as I like what was the guard's name from Jacksonville last year?
AJ Kenyon.
As much as I like him as a person, because he is funny as hell. Much as I like him as a person, he's not Shaq Mason. So Shaq Mason is going to be able to help him out a lot. So I don't know why he is being targeted. I don't know why he's being pushed as the villain, because it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make football sense to me. And that's what happens sometimes. And I think that's what happens sometimes with you all when you're saying, this don't even make football sense. What are we talking about here? You know what it makes? It makes hot take sense. It makes Twitter sense, because I'm trying to go viral on Twitter. I want everybody to like this. I just don't get it.
Yeah. My frustration has grown daily by the unnecessary hate. It's just it's unnecessary, it's unprovoked. It's just, I'm gonna say this because I know I'm gonna get a reaction from whoever if I say this. And people want to harp on me because I feel like sometimes I'm the Lone Ranger out there. But shout out to Corey Barrett, who backs me up a lot. We both know the family, personally. And people want to say, oh, because you went to A&M and oh, you just riding for him because he's Aggie. No, it's deeper than that. I've seen Kenyon and I know what Kenyon is about. And what y'all talking about, y'all have no idea
at all
at what Kenyon is about and what his makeup is, what his family, like growing up, what he was taught and how he was brought up. Is something you have to know these things and just stop throwing stuff against the wall and hoping it stick just to make a point, just to say I gotta be right. That's my favorite hashtag, and I love to use the hashtag gotta be right.
Yep.
I'm gonna say he was ass in the beginning, and I'm gonna hold on to it just and pray and hope that he is ass, so I can come back and say, see, I told you he was ass.
It's the same way, like I said, same way like it is with Dusty. Dusty won the World Series, and before this man could even get out of the first week of baseball, all of a sudden they hate him. Look at the lineup. Look at this, that, and I was like, yo, the man just won. Well, anybody could have won with that team. Well, AJ Hinch couldn't win with it without cheating. So anyway, as I digress, AD, you know the family personally, right? You said?
Well,
so we know
my dad knows his family.
So So ain't no way that anybody who knows Henry Green, they know that it ain't a coach walking this earth that is harder on Kenyon than Henry. His daddy, they sit down, they have film study themselves. They have film studies after he comes home from the game. They'll go down and they'll start breaking out film and going through it. And so, Kenyon told me himself last year in the locker room, he said, what I'm going through right now is what I went through my first year at A&M. And he started naming some of these defensive tackles that play in the league, but of course I didn't remember. But some of these defensive tackles that are in the league now.
Jeffrey Simmons. He played against Jeffrey Simmons his rookie year. I mean, his freshman year at A&M.
He said, at my first year, I learned a lot. I took the off season and I came back. And he said, I ended my career as a 2-time All-American. He said, which ain't easy to do as an offensive lineman. He said, I know. Because I talked to Kenyon a lot. Kenyon said, I know that I haven't been playing good this year compared to, what some would want from me. He said, but that's okay. Just give me time. He said, I'm learning. There's a lot of new stuff that I'm learning now. He said that I'm going to study in the offseason. I'm going to come back a whole lot better. So I just say, you got to give this young man a break. And that's what I said. I say that about all rookies in all sports. And I know this is the Texans podcast, but even let's just talk about, I tell people this. Like when you look at a player like Jeremy Pena is only in his second year. Mm-hmm. He's only in his second year. So the slumps that he's going through, the errors that he's having, of course you expect that from a second year player who's just now playing his second year consecutive. He got hot during a time where they needed him the most. So as I digress, when I look at Kenyon, when I look at Stingley, so I don't understand how someone can expect so much from Derek Stingley, who was an All-American, and then take a dump on Kenyon Green, who was a 2-time All-American. Like you got to give them the same opportunity. They came in the same draft class.
One thing about it. I mean, I listen to you guys and you make some very valid points, and everything you say should be considered when you think about what's going on with Kenyon Green's development. A lot of the issues that we see in Twitter spaces, that we see in the Twitter world, that we see in the fan base is what y'all said earlier. They need somebody to pick on. There's no more, guys that they can just say, we're going to make fun of this guy. We're going to give this guy a hard time. We don't like this guy. And it's turned into who can we be as harsh as we can and get away with it because he had a subpar year. Now, this kid just turned 22 in March of this year, 22 years old. And Sarge said it before. He was going up against Jeffrey Simmons. He was going against Jonathan Allen. He went up against Deron Payne. Went up Dexter Lawrence. He went up against the guy from the Eagles, Hargraves. And every single one of these guys today has a $20 million contract, right? They aren't the pushovers. They are the grown men monsters of this NFL. And those guys perform like that against everybody they played against. That's why they got paid.
Did they get paid because of their performance against Kenyon Green?
They owe him some money if they did. Right? They need at least take him out to dinner.
Sure.
But the thing about it is, nobody wants to pull out his good plays.
Yeah.
Show me when he pulls and he traps and he pulls around and he clears out a path for Damon Pierce.
I just want to add to that. Nobody wants to show because Kenyon has always been dominant in the run game. That's been his go-to.
Yes.
From high school, college, hell, even middle school. That's where his forte was dominating in the run game. Okay. He was that was one of his things. He wasn't the greatest in pass pro. That's attributed because they tried to play him at tackle when he wasn't a tackle. And then they moved him to guard. And he got better, but that's not his go-to is pass pro. If you look at him blocking in the run game, because all the negative highlights on Kenyon Green is in pass pro.
Right.
Nobody wants to pull up the plays when he's in the running game and he's mauling these dudes and taking them down the field 10 plus yards and he's getting to the second level, eating up these linebackers. Nobody wants to say anything or show any highlight clips on that. But they quick to show that Washington when Deron Payne pushed him into Davis Mills and whatever and mollywopped them and walked them back.
And another thing, AD, people love to say, well, he got picked in the first round, so he needs to show a little bit better. But let's look at Zion Johnson or Williams.
Johnson.
Let's look at Evan Neal. Let's take a look at Iquanu. All these guys struggled as rookies last year. Some of them got a little better. Go ahead, Drew.
I'll give you one better. Andre Thomas.
Right. Now we talking about first round picks. I think Iquanu went 3. I think Neal went 2 or something like that. What was the Giants pick 5 or something?
Evan Neal was like 7. Icky went like 5 or 6. Icky got better over the course of the season, but he also had a lot of penalties.
He led the league in penalties. He led the NFL in penalties. So don't sit here and bash this kid. That when you talk about that is one position that you have to be grown man at. You've got to be a grown man. Those are bulls in there. You ain't lassoing horses.
Yeah.
You're not rounding up cattle.
Can I jump in for a second, Chris? And let me say this. You know, I was talking about this today with one of the people out there. When you take a look at it, you also got to look at the ineffectiveness, the inefficiency, the confusion, if I can use that, as with the offensive scheme as well. I mean, they went to Driscoll Cat. They were using 2 quarterbacks. I haven't seen a team outside of Pee-wee football or high school football use a 2 quarterback system since Baylor did it. That was a long time ago. When I'm saying to myself, this is an NFL team using 2 quarterbacks in a game. And it's not preseason. This is a regular season. And not only that, it's late into the season. And so now I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. So I don't know if this is a Pep call, a Lovey call, a Nick call. Whoever's making this call is crazy. That puts so much pressure on the offensive line because, first of all, you'll never know who's going to be there. And you're practicing to learn the styles of 2 different quarterbacks. So even when they come in, so now how confusing is that for a rookie lineman when it's like, okay, so who back then? Who coming in?
Right.
Okay, Driscoll. All right, so let me remember what Driscoll likes to do. All right, who coming in? Oh, all right, here come Davis. Like that was like that offense was in so much disarray last year that you're looking here like, no wonder Quisenberry was just spinning in the middle of the field.
Looking like a Tecmo Bowl player.
He was doing the MC Hammer too. Hey.
Right. It's like.
So I got a question for you guys.
You want Charlie Heck?
Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
You made Jules come back in the picture.
Watch your mouth.
Charlie Heck guy?
Watch your mouth.
You like Jules
taking a nap?
About my son, but no, I have a question. I remember in A&M, if I'm not mistaken, Green played all 5 positions, right?
No, he played 4. He played left tackle, right guard, left guard. He didn't play center.
I thought he played center for like 1 or 2 games.
He did play center.
No, for 1 or 2 plays.
One or two games.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture. I'm looking at a video right now on the internet of him playing center. That's why I came up with the idea.
I'm telling you, Chris, that was a few plays. That was not games.
Which game was that against?
I know. This is the thing. I know you can hide players at center. You can do that up through college, and in the NFL as well. Because a lot of times at center, all they're asked to do is to snap the ball and to help out with blocks, right? Do y'all think he could move over to center if something drastic happens and he continues to struggle? Would you try to move him over to center and then stick you another guard at guard?
No.
Who are you gonna put there? Dieter?
Yeah, see that I'm just throwing out things, throwing out ideas.
No, he's not built for center.
So he's got to live and die at the guard position, right?
Right, because he couldn't. He was a left tackle coming out of high school, and his pass blocking wasn't on a level of college, so he was good at right tackle. But his perfect position is guard. Center, he don't have the center skills or the center feet for center.
Okay, and so the Texans picked up the offensive coordinator from the Indianapolis Colts.
The O-line coach, yeah.
Offensive line. Oh, yeah. What did I say? Offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Yeah, the O-line coach. So he should be a lot better than what we had last year, right?
Hopefully.
Well, let the kid get coached up for a year or two.
Correct.
It's the same thing that I'll bring CJ right quick. People who expect CJ to shine after day 7 of minicamp are fools. This is a coming into a NFL system. There's not been a rookie quarterback that came into day 6 of a minicamp and shined. That's not what the purpose of training camp. That's not the purpose of 2-a-days. It's to work through your mistakes. This kid needs to work through his training. He needs to be coached up. There's a lot of players that have been Hall of Famers and all pros who start off slow in their career. We mentioned earlier Andrew Thomas for the Giants. He was damn near about to be cut his second year. He worked at it. He shined. He got better. He got better coaching, and he performed better. For people who want to cut players, I dislike Mills. Mills is not a quarterback that's a quarter QB1. He never had the talent. So let's not confuse it. I know people gonna come out. Oh, you hate Mills. I don't hate Mills. I just know that he's not a QB1. But for people who have the talent and have the drive, allow people to be coached up, and he has lost enough time this offseason, not OTAs because he has knee scope, and then last year, which he has to figure out of not being healthy going forward for offseason training. But to say he doesn't have the skill or the work ethic is pure laziness by the Houston Texans fans and any sports talk radio in Houston Texas radios right now. I don't give a fuck who they are.
Wow. Hey, Chris.
You have to these players, and I know it's society that we want gratification right there now. This is still a man's game. This still is a human game that you cannot rush to process.
That's why they don't let him come out of high school. That's why they don't let him come straight out of high school into the NFL, because they're like, no. And Chris, you're right. You can hide a player at center because they hid Justin Britt all last year.
Justin Britt is he's the only center I've ever seen to have a false start.
Hey,
how the hell you jump on sides and you didn't snap the ball?
I have a question, man. Wasn't Kenyon Green the youngest offensive lineman in the NFL?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this right here, man. I'm gonna say this. Bottom line is for AD, if you want to come at somebody, come at AD. He's 40, okay? He can take it. I can take it. Don't come at these kids.
Hey.
Well, he ain't quite 40, but
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm a man. You know what?
I'm a grown ass man.
It's so crazy when we talk about that because, I look back and I think that I tweeted this after Titus signed his extension. You remember there was some people who did not want Titus Howard here, and they wanted the guy that the Eagles out of Washington.
Yes.
And I will say this, he plays with the Titans now, right?
Right.
Because they pay, so the Eagles paid his replacement and then say, no, you can go. But then the Titans picked him up and gave him a 3-year. I forgot how much it was, but
$10 million a year, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, huh?
Millard.
Oh, my bad.
$13 million.
Yeah, so I mean, you can just look at nobody's like, people looked at it like, we don't want Titus Howard. He's not this, that, and other. And I was like, and here's the thing, AD. Mm-hmm. Kenyon Green is getting the Titus Howard treatment. Because you remember for the longest time, Titus was the villain. And I'm saying to myself, Titus is a right tackle, but he's also played right guard. He's left tackle and left guard. I said, when you stick him in his natural position and stop moving him up and down the line, let him play in his natural position, you're going to see what type of player he is. Last year, they let him play in his natural position, and he played very well. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't take into account either.
Not the whole season, Sarge. Not the whole season, though, because they did play him at guard a few games.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I will say this. Hey, he wasn't a bad left tackle either.
No, he wasn't.
But people forget, Sarge. That's what he was drafted. He was drafted to be the franchise left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was drafted for. And Bill O'Brien, be gone. Thankful for Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
But the way we got Laramie Tunsil was horrible. And the trade was horrible. So I think the original trade was supposed to be Clowney for Tunsil. I'm okay with that. Give me Clowney, give me Tunsil, y'all get Clowney, fine. That's even trade. But to do what he did and all that, trading them extra first round picks to make a deal, just whatever. But at the end of the day, that people soon to forget that Titus Howard was drafted before the Laremy Tunsil trade even happened.
Yep.
Titus Howard was scheduled to be the starting left tackle in 2018?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why people forget that. He can play both tackle spots very well.
Well, if we need a backup lineman, there's a guy that got cut from the Titans yesterday.
I don't want nobody from them Titans.
No, listen, man. This is DeMarco Jones from Ohio State. He got drafted by the Seahawks, picked up by the Titans. Anybody that got into 2 fights and beat up 2 Titans players need to be a Houston Texans, man. That boy need to be a Texans, man. He out there pulling the goddamn Andre Johnson on them boys, man. So go on, bring him over here. Let's see what he can do. He likes to fight Titans. I like that.
Another question I have for Sarge when we're talking about the offensive line. Why are we signing so many tackles? We signed Greg Little early in the offseason. Then we signed Noah. What is his name? I'm about to call him Noah Fant.
George Fant.
George Fant. We signed George Fant, and we just signed a tackle today from Miami. I forgot his name. It was in the press release. What's his name? Because they put Quisenberry on IR.
Yeah,
and they signed him.
I would have to go and look at my email.
We got another Dolphin lineman?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. University of Miami.
DJ Scaffy.
Yeah, there we go.
Gaffey.
He's another tackle. So my question is Greg Little that bad?
Hold on for a second.
That's a good question.
Hold on.
Shit, is Jules boy that bad?
Or Leo's asking, is Titus that bad?
Is Heck that bad?
No, Heck is hurt. And we,
Oh,
he's hurt. He's hurt.
I'm sorry. I had to look at my roster because I don't know these guys right off the rip. But you said number 74, right?
Yeah, number 74. Yeah.
Who you got listed as?
Hey, you know what this? So what do you normally do with empty bottles?
Recycle them.
Recycle, throw it in the trash.
Damn.
Yeah, Greg Little out of there.
Uh-oh.
Greg Little and Greg Little and Charlie Heck are out of there once he come back off published.
Charlie Heck is trash too.
Hold on.
Damn,
Jules. You ain't got an offensive lineman since 1994.
I like Green. I want a Green.
I remember you was kicking my ass about Davenport. Julian Davenport. Hey, Sarge.
Out of App State.
He swore up and down. Julian Davenport was a foundational future franchise left tackle. And I was wrong. And
how long you been doing edibles?
Jules.
Yes, Jules.
You smoke joints, not blunts, don't you?
Chris, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Then there was another guy.
Jules was 40 minutes from App State. Come on, dude.
Do y'all remember Martinez?
He's not the guy.
Wait, what? Didn't he end up with the Chiefs?
Yes, he did. We traded him for Carlos Hyde.
Chris, you about to lie. I was never a Marcus Records guy.
That wasn't you?
No, that was not me. You about to lie.
You sure about that?
I promise you, I was not a Records guy.
I love this podcast.
Hey, Jules, just based on your Julian Davenport and your 1,200 yards from Devin Singletary
and Charlie Heck.
Hey,
and my Stephen A. Smith voice from
hold on. While you were down there in Indiana, did you have a conversation with Jim Irsay?
I did.
Did you get in the car with him?
How y'all gonna get that well down there to Florida?
$20 million.
Free Willy.
That's another thing.
Hey, look, if I was Jim Irsay, I'd be so petty and I'd name the well Jonathan.
JT. Oh shit. Tell him how many miles he ran with him over there. But that's sad, man.
Hey, yeah, I told you that's why he had to go. He had to eat that rice-a-roni plate. So, hey, so look, I know that.
Before we get out of here, go ahead. So
you want to talk about the quarterbacks?
Yeah, we do. We want to hear you. We want to hear what you saw About
hold on. Let me say this, and then we can go right into it.
Oh, he won't let that Kenyon Green shit go. He don't want to let that Kenyon Green
no,
shit go.
It ain't got nothing to do with it ain't got nothing to do with Kenyon Green. This has everything to do with. I'm gonna go ahead and call because I thought I was gonna refrain myself from calling them that, but the mill sites have been on a rampage.
They back.
They have been looking for reasons for anything, any glimmer of hope, any glimpse of hope for doggone Davis Mills.
Sarge about to give it to him
to actually come out and be the starter for the Houston
Southwest Sarge about to give it to him.
I ain't from the North, Chris.
You finna be from River Oaks right now with this thing. you finna stir up the pot, Sister Sarge.
No, so I'm gonna ask, you clip up these podcast clips and put them out too?
I'm about to.
Yeah, we will.
Cool.
Clint Stern too. Add Clint Stern to the situation. He won't Davis.
We run the whole podcast though most of the time. You switching it up?
Now I'm about to take my hat off so you know I'm serious.
Oh, goddamn.
Here we go.
Hold on, let me put this hat on. I want these people when they look for me, they can see my name. Their hat ain't got my name on it. You see that? They got my last name on it. That you can find me like that. First name Brian.
The government name.
Government.
Tell you all something.
Goddamn.
Davis Mills should not be a Houston Texan.
Bam. He said
and the reason, and listen, I'm not saying now catch what I'm saying. I'm not saying he shouldn't be an NFL player. I'm not saying he shouldn't be an NFL quarterback. What I'm saying is Davis Mills should not be a Houston Texan.
Hold on, let me inbox Noah and
Kilo.
Kilo. Let me hit Kilo up.
Clint Sterner.
Okay, go ahead. Bang. Go ahead. Say it again.
The reason why I say that Davis Mills should not be a Houston Texan is because Davis Mills will never, ever get the love from the city here. He's never going to be quarterback number one here. It's time for him to move on and to get a fresh start. If I was him, I would be requesting a trade so I can go somewhere else and start over. Ever since day one, since he's gotten here, there has been a dark cloud over Davis Mills. And some of it is his fault. Some of it is not his fault. And when I say that is like, you got to also look at a young man who's playing in his third offensive system as well, playing under his third head coach as well, coming in during a time where, Mr. Freaky Deaky want to be Freaky Deaky. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if you're looking at it and you're saying, hey, Davis Mills came in, Davis Mills was drafted into a terrible situation. We can say that. I'm not now before I even talk about his football skills. I'm saying he was drafted into a terrible situation. He's playing under his third head coach. He's playing in his third offensive system. He's never going to be able to recover from those other 2 years. There's always going to be the fan base. I put it like this. CJ can stink it up for 3 years. You know what these people still going to say? Man, we love CJ. CJ still going to be. CJ going to turn it around. CJ going to turn it around. Now, listen, I know there's some people who are Mills fans who say, oh, man, Mills going to turn it around. Mills going to turn it around. And, like, y'all knew in the back of y'all mind, there's no possible way that he gonna turn it around. And you look at CJ, you like, oh, CJ got that. CJ got what it takes, that intestinal fortitude to turn it around. What Davis's problem is he's a high level thinker, and so that leads me now being a high level thinker like that. That leads me into the football aspect of it. He doesn't play football.
Is that why he overthrows people?
He overthinks situations. If Davis Mills would clear his mind and just play football, I think we would see a better Davis Mills. But this is year 3 for you. We're going to give CJ a pass because he's a rookie. He's only been 8 days in the training camp. Hell, he's still learning the routine of what he's supposed to do in the mornings and then what he's supposed to do after practice and how to handle being away from the field, getting ready for the next day. Davis, this is your 3rd year. So I expect you to make flash plays in your 3rd training camp.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to get the ball downfield. You should be able to see different things. But Davis Mills' problem is he can't make basic football plays. That has nothing to do with the head coach, nothing to do with the offensive coordinator, everything to do with him. So I say Davis Mills is in his own head. I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it. As an advocate, I don't listen. Let me preface my statement by saying this. I don't know if Davis Mills has mental health issues or not. I'm not putting that on him. But what I will say is watching an overthinker in Houston Astros starting pitcher Framber Valdez, watching an overthinker, watching an emotional person, and he says, what helped me is I went to a sports psychologist, and the sports psychologist helped me to clear my mind, helped me to say, hey, I don't have to keep going through this, that, and the other. I'm putting a lot of this on myself. So Davis Mills drops back, and now he's looking, and he feels like he has to make the perfect throw, or I got to make the perfect throw, or he drops back, and he doesn't have a clue on who he going to throw to, what's supposed to be going on, and there you go. Last year, it was the check downs. This year, it's the overthrows. This year, it's the underthrows. So when people think that I hate Davis Mills, it's not. I don't hate Davis Mills. I'm just watching and saying he's not ready to be an NFL quarterback because he's not making basic NFL plays. Now, I don't know what Clint says, and I put it like this. I like Clint. Clint and I actually talk a lot at training camp, but I don't really get a chance to listen to their shows a lot, so I don't know what he's saying about Davis Mills. So can somebody fill me in on it?
Well, I before somebody fill him in on it, I just got a question about your comment about Davis Mills and those dark clouds. I really want to know what you mean by the dark clouds that follow Davis Mills. Was they?
Yeah, brother.
You know what?
Question too.
Yeah, brother.
My bad, Chris.
Yes.
My bad. I forgot AD went to A&M. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
So when he hears darkies, it means a whole nother thing to him. So
damn.
What I mean, Chris, is
come on, brother.
That
come on, Malcolm, Sarge.
That dark cloud, that dark cloud of just funk.
Well,
butter,
he's in the dark cloud because his neck is so long. He's the only one that's in that cloud. He's not overthinking. He's thinking over everybody because his head is so far above where it needs to be. He's not in his own head. He's in his throat.
Where's the disclaimer that says
ain't no disclaimer?
Opinions
okay,
rundown.
I'm so sorry, Miss Mills. I love Davis Mills as a person, place, or a thing.
But so,
as a proper noun, I really enjoyed Davis Mills. My thing about it, Sarge, I get what you're trying to say by him overthinking. NFL unfortunately doesn't grant you the opportunity to get placed in the best situation at any time that you wish.
That's why
that's correct. Whatever situation you happen to fall in, you have to make the best of it. He's had a better situation than Kellen Mond, who got drafted right before us. He's had a better situation than
Minnesota.
Because he got to play.
Cleveland.
Now he's in Cleveland. He was able to actually get on the field and show what he can do. Kellen Mond has yet to do that. And many said we was going to draft Kellen Mond beforehand, right? I know there was a tricks of the trade.
I actually thought we would, yeah.
You can't predict where you're going to play at. So you got to produce the most you can with what you got. And
let me say this.
He failed, man.
If we would have drafted Kellen Mond, it would have been worse. Kellenite. You called me Kellenite.
It would have been worse. I mean, I'm not knocking the guy and all that, but
But sometimes, Chris, you fall into the perfect situation like Patrick Mahomes.
You do. But for him, he had 2 years to step on that field, regardless of who he's been with, and to step out there and show who he was. And I think there was plenty of opportunities that the ball was in his hand, and regardless of the play call, regardless of the coaches, he had an opportunity to step up and win games and put his team in position to win games, and he didn't do it. I don't know. Do you think he can go out there and do it this year with these coaches?
No. What you was going to say, Mike? Because
no. Yeah, I had a joke brewing for a good 10, 15 minutes, and Chris sort of stole my thunder. But I was going to ask, with Davis Mills coming from Stanford, like, above the neck, what's his trade value?
Above the neck.
Above
the neck.
I get your joke. Don't get me wrong. And that's funny. I got it. Look, it may have taken me a second because I was ready to answer. Then I was like, oh, above the neck. I got
above the neck.
Wait, you didn't want to answer. You just wanted to get your joke off.
No, I do, actually.
So it all depends on who can look at him and say they can fix him.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. You just got to look and see who. And so now, if I'm who is some? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of some of the offensive-minded head coaches and some of these offensive coordinators around the league, because I can't just think of them right off.
Somebody like Tampa.
You know who I think could probably help him out a lot, and y'all may laugh when I say this. So Frank Reich is in Carolina, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I think Frank Reich could help him. I mean, because you got to look at it like this too. He got drafted by the Texans. Like, who here could help him as far as becoming a better quarterback?
Didn't they bring Pep Hamilton specifically for Davis Mills?
I thought so.
So wait, but hold on. They brought him here, but was Pep the offensive coordinator the first year?
No, I mean he was the great Tim Kelly. The Tennessee fans think Tim Kelly about to take them to a Super Bowl.
Right.
And but bringing Pep to help Davis Mills is like when you lose a shoe and a nigga brought another. Excuse me, the guy brings another left foot shoe. I needed a right foot, and you brought in Pep. So Pep didn't help much. He's just running in circles with 2 right shoes.
Hey, well, look, I put it like this. Pep, it wasn't. So let me say this: it wasn't from lack of trying though, because Pep would get in Davis Mills' ass. I don't know if I can cuss on here or not, but
I've been cussing the whole time. What you mean?
What?
Hey, he used to get in Davis Mills' ass and say, I've heard him say to Davis, "What did you see? What the hell did you just see?" Because I damn sure didn't see it, and then he didn't say that. He's like, "I didn't see it, and I'm standing right behind you. So wherever you were throwing that ball to, or whatever you was doing, what did you see?"
I don't know.
So so it wasn't for. I don't want to say Pep was the greatest, but he wasn't the worst either. You got to look at what he was working with.
Now, do you agree with a lot of the media guys? Well, not a lot. Some of the media guys that say he's actually competing against Stroud in the training camp.
So what's the okay? So Carlos and what's the other guy's name?
Carlos and Rios
from Just Fans.
Yeah, Just Fans podcast.
Just Fans podcast, right?
Shout out.
Yes, Chris, ask me that question again.
Is he really competing against CJ Stroud in the training camp as you see it?
So I'm going to tell you, just like I said to those guys last night. Chris, I come on here and I try to be as professional as I can. Try to laugh. I try to joke it up. I try to limit my profanity. I try to limit my outbursts. I try to limit, talking so much because other people need to talk as well. And I do a podcast by myself, so I'm so used to talking. When this mic comes on, I'm in this room by myself just talking. So I feel like I should just be talking, but I say, hey, you got to be mindful of other people. I say all that to say the same thing that I said last night to those guys. The hell y'all trying to do? Get me in trouble. And what I mean by what y'all trying to do by getting me in trouble is because you want me to cuss, Chris. You want me to cuss. You want me to go off. You want me to start saying that's the dumbest shit I've heard in my entire life.
Natural life.
You want me to just go off on a tangent, Chris, because you already know the damn answer. Chris,
yes.
If we keeping it a buck, if we keeping it 100, right?
100.
Studewood Chris.
Yes.
From Southwest Sarge.
100.
Case Keenum should be the backup quarterback.
Straight off Fondren.
Straight up.
All the way to Third Ward, Texas.
Davis Mills ain't competing with nobody. He's following the plan that Nick Caserio is using to try to throw everybody off.
And send him to Tennessee?
Oh, I don't know about where he's going to go.
That's too close.
But, like, listen, I put it like this. For as many plays as Davis shines, so does Case. And Case actually has more experience.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're just looking, for somebody that's just going to come in, if something happens to CJ and maintain the game, Case could do that. You put Case with that first unit, he can do that. We've seen him do it before, but no, listen, I don't know why Nick Caserio and DeMeco Ryans even uttered those words that there's going to be a competition.
Yeah.
It almost seems like when they were hiring DeMeco, they was like, okay, DeMeco, look, we're gonna take a quarterback. You know this, right? So if you allow me to just say that it's a quarterback controversy and go along with it, then it would make me happy if you would do that. Because listen, today on today, right? Friday.
Yes.
CJ Stroud took all the first team reps. Wow. When they do walkthroughs, CJ Stroud takes the first team reps. They try to think that they're fooling us by when they go into team drills, they alternate who's going to play with the ones and twos. And I'm saying to myself, bro, I'm not even looking at the quarterbacks no more because I already know who's going to be the starter. I'm trying to see, hey, is that Eric Rivers in the game? What is that Eric Rivers out there? What is he doing?
Yeah.
What is Christian Kirksey doing on the field? Yeah.
Yes. That is.
Well, Mike is petty, ain't he? He's petty.
Mike is that's not his guy.
But Chris, why don't you ask me that question? You trying to make me cuss, ain't you?
Well, you know what, Sarge? I also got to remember you have to go amongst these guys and continue to ask them questions. And I know they don't want to hear any negative. You're not worried about that. I got you.
No, because I'm not stating an opinion. I'm stating what I see.
Observations.
Facts from what I see.
I got you.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Right. I've never played the quarterback position on this level. I played when I was younger and I played on Madden, but I've never played quarterback in the NFL. So, hey, there may be some things that I'm not privy to. But when I watch Davis Mills, as I've watched him the last 3 years, go through basic football plays and mess those up, I'm saying to myself, I put it like this. It would be people sure. And now listen, y'all know, first of all, full disclosure, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan when I'm away from covering the NFL. I'm a Dallas Cowboys.
Oh my God. Why didn't y'all tell me this?
You've been knowing that, Chris.
No, you're a Cowboys fan?
You've been knowing that, Chris.
No way, Sarge.
Get him off of here.
Come on.
But so I'm saying that to say this. If I was a Houston Texans fan and I seen Davis Mills, if I seen Davis Mills come up under center against the Baltimore Ravens in week 1, I would be at Bush waiting on the plane to land. Saying, hey, DeMeco, come see me, bro. Come see me. Nick, you next. You stand right there. DeMeco, come see me, bro. What are we doing here? Who are we tanking for? We can't because Chris, they can't tank for nobody, right?
Right. No, we can't tank for nobody.
Because they gave
us all to win as much as possible
for Will Anderson Jr., right?
You're right. Why would we give him a high pick? We gave up all the picks.
Which, by the way, hey, if he turns out to be what I think he's going to be, are you going to come on this podcast and apologize?
I will come on your podcast and apologize, Sarge. I will sit my fat ass on the back of that truck. I will apologize right then and there, and I will apologize to Nick and everybody else, man.
If look, hold on. What is it going to take within the first 3 years to change your mind about him?
Well,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over.
No, you good, man. I believe this year. Give me 6 sacks this year. I'm not asking for nothing crazy. Just give me 6 sacks. Anything less than that, 3 or 4, I'm gonna feel like the other guys push those sacks to you. Then I have to see how you got those sacks. Did you get them on your own? Was they rebound sacks? Did you have some tackle for losses? How did you play? Stunts. You know what I'm saying? So I
mean like what other defensive ends get?
Right. No, I just mean like that an average defensive end gets, who nobody traded 8 picks away to get.
I won't bet. I want you to come on the back of the truck with a Will Anderson jersey on.
I will buy, not number 51. He better get a different number.
Why?
If he don't get another, I'm not wearing that ugly ass number.
It's Area 51, baby.
That jersey look like you should be a crosswalker number for the little kids and shit. Number 51. Come on, no.
Hey, wait, hold on. Was that a commercial with Jack in the Box? That's my son right there.
That's my son. That's when I'll agree to jersey.
Have you been to a training camp yet?
I have not.
Wait, AD, you have?
Yeah.
Were you able to observe Mr. Number 51?
51 was whooping the shit out of Titus Howard on multiple.
Not every play.
Not every play, but at least 3 times I saw him give Titus Howard hell.
I read it from the
man himself.
Titus gave him the business on one-on-ones today.
Right.
He did.
Right, he got his lick back, but but
he did a little something.
Oh, he was, but Will Anderson was steadily in the backfield, steadily, like it's multiple times. You've seen the clips. It's multiple times he was in the backfield. Should have been a sack. They let the quarterback throw the ball, highlight play or whatever. But in all honesty, Will Anderson was steadily in that.
I think what's safe.
And he is so much bigger than what
was expected.
It's something you have to see in person. This man is a grown ass man. He's a true beast of a man. Like, he is a big dude, and when you see him in person, you're like, damn. Because when you see him on the highlights, you like, oh man, it's a little skinny dude up
pause,
here.
Right, Mike?
Yeah, pause.
Hey, look, I don't even say pause no more. You know what I call it? Mitch McConnell. Hey, Mitch McConnell.
Not a Mitch McConnell.
Turtle, man.
You remember when he just...
Yes.
I was like, who broke
this?
Hey, will y'all agree with this, though? And I said this yesterday. I feel like Will Anderson is going to be Javon Curse.
Ooh.
I heard you say that on Spaces.
Yeah,
that's something. That's a good comparison. Yeah. I want to so bad ask for his forgiveness. I want him to be that great. I really do. I mean, I'm Texas. Before I'm a predictor of the fucking draft, I am a Houston Texans fan. And anybody I talk bad about or don't think that they should have been picked, I was a big Zay Flowers guy. So
that's who you wanted them to use. You wanted them to take Zay Flowers with the second pick, right? That they had in the first round.
I wanted them to trade back and take some of them. Take them. I wanted them to go down to about 20 and still get Zay and get an extra second.
That's what I was saying, and you're saying no. We need to take him at 12.
Well, I'm saying I said we need to take him at 12 if he's not going to be there. The way I figured, the only person that was going to take him was the Ravens, and that's who took him at 23. I believe. And I just thought that we needed to give C.J. Stroud a major offensive weapons.
Okay, so real quick, I got a question for you, Chris. So, because I already see where you're going. I already see listen, I see you on the Beltway speeding and you ain't taking no feeders. So you run, you don't even have a toll tag, and you running through the toll spot. You like, hey, send me the bill in the mail. We good, right?
Like Martin say, eat my dust.
Yeah. You didn't turn the Beltway into the Autobahn. So because you're speeding now, Chris. So
I'm under control though now. I ain't just
out of control. Are you going to be comparing Will Anderson and Zay Flowers the entire year?
The seasons, if Zay Flowers goes out and gets Rookie of the Year, and what's the name disappoints, I'm gonna be saying I told you so. I've already been saying it.
But Chris, hold on.
On every chat group,
Zay Flowers is playing with a former NFL MVP.
It don't matter.
That matters a lot, Chris.
No, they said.
No, not what they said. He's a former NFL MVP.
Let's be honest. They said Lamar Jackson was not a good thrower of the football.
No,
so it's not like he got Mahomes out there.
Hold on.
No, they said he doesn't throw the football. They didn't say he wasn't a good thrower.
Right? They said he doesn't. They said he wasn't that good of a passer.
He doesn't.
So, but here's the question though: who was he going to throw to?
But all I'm saying before we get off subject,
he had Willie Snead.
Well, here's the thing.
All right.
You've got people saying that he burns every cornerback that he goes up against.
And the Ravens don't have good cornerbacks.
But I'm saying every single NFL guy that he goes against, he's burning them.
All I'm saying is,
Chris, if he goes out there and kills it this year, I'm going to be pissed off.
Listen, AD, I know we got to get ready to go, but I was just saying, I seen where he was going. He's going to compare. If Zay Flowers come out and have 2 touchdowns and Anderson only has 1.5 sacks, Chris is going to erupt.
Meltdown.
Yeah. If that boy have 169 yards against us and 2 touchdowns, what you think I'm gonna say?
Zay?
Yeah, Zay.
Now look, before we get ready to get up off here, I know we're running out of time. You want to know my hot take though? Y'all want to hear my hot take?
Come on.
I'm not starting Will Anderson week 1 if I'm the Houston Texans.
Yeah,
I'm letting him play. But I'm not starting him only because he ain't never played against a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. And coming around that corner, no matter what type of speed he got, he's got to be making these decisions where this is Lamar Jackson. And he is going to make you miss. And so I'm saying I'm not starting out with him. I'm bringing him in and out of the game. But I got to start Jerry Hughes and I got to start Grenard as veterans who knows how to – they can't stop Lamar Jackson, but they can contain him. At least when he come around, they know you got a rookie playing in his first game, playing against Lamar Jackson, who they're going to say, oh, you got the rookie over there. Don't worry. Hey, look, I know with the play they said we was running. Nah, I'm finna run right at him. He's gonna have to prove to me that he can stop me from coming this way.
Bro.
And Chris will say, why did we trade 30 picks for him?
Why did we trade 30 picks for a dude? You want to sit up in the press box?
No, I didn't say the press box. I said let him play.
Okay, but you don't want to start a guy that was a number 3 overall pick.
Not against Lamar Jackson in his first game.
I hear you, brother. Don't save him now, man.
No, I'm not, because if he starts and he looks bad against Lamar, then you're in a win-win situation.
So you shouldn't start Zay Flowers?
Not against Derek Stingley and Jalen.
Not against Derek Stingley and Nelson.
That's different though.
Yeah, he'll probably be in the squad anyway.
I don't think you get any benefit of not starting Will Anderson.
I don't think you get any benefit of going up against Lamar Jackson coming around that cone on him.
I mean, but he's going to do that in the
Lions
second quarter.
Though. He's going to be better than Grenard, I think.
I think you need to let him get a taste of the speed early before he warms up.
I'm saying you can play him in the second defensive series. Just don't start him.
You need to let him get out there, get his feet wet, man.
Yeah. You say that when Lamar breaks 45 coming around that cone on him.
I mean, he going to do that against Hughes or whoever. If he going to do it, he going to do it. You know what I mean?
They've actually played against Lamar, so they know what Lamar is capable of, and they've seen it in person.
Yeah,
Will Anderson ain't.
There ain't a player there's not a player that on the Texans roster that can emulate Lamar Jackson on the practice squad.
Hey,
on the scout team.
If you scared, go to church.
You saying Davis Mills can't pull that off?
Nah, he loves the fumble after he scrambles.
Thank you for having me.
On that note,
I got a couple of quick questions actually. All right, so what's in your perspective, in your eyes, from what you've seen, what's the wide receiver depth chart? Is the first question.
Did you say what's the white receiver?
Wide receiver,
Bachman,
you know what
right? Is that his name? Bachman. It's Bachman, right?
Bachman, is it Bachman?
Alex Bachman, yes.
It's Bachman.
What's next? What's the next question?
My bad, Mike.
Oh,
thought you was going to your roots, man.
Wide receivers. So wide receiver number one is Nico Collins. Hands down.
That sounds real ugly.
Yeah, right. Wide receiver number one is Nico Collins.
Say Flowers.
Number two is going to be Robert Woods. Number three is going to be Noah Brown. You're not starting Mechie and you're not starting Tank Dell in game one. They just don't have. Tank is too small for one. He's going to have to put Tank in. You're going to have to almost run some type of trick plays for him to get him the ball in his hands. So he can just learn. Because he's going to learn how to avoid these hits his first year.
Yeah.
Get him. If you're going to put him in a slot, you're going to have to run some quick plays for him to touch the ball and be able to turn and see who he's around. Because if he catches it and don't turn quick enough, they're going to knock him clean off his feet.
Sarge, I done got a lot of hell about this take with Tank Dell. And I'm gonna keep, because what you saying is exactly what I said, and that's my reasoning behind why I don't. Because people up here saying he gonna get 1,000 yards receiving, and this, and he gonna have at least 800 and 700 yards. I'm like, I said I don't see him getting more than 300 yards receiving this year.
I think he'll get more than 300. Excuse me, I mean cut you off, AD. I think he'll get more than 300 because by the second half of the season, he will have been adjusted to playing in the NFL. But in the beginning, because he runs, like I said earlier, he runs great routes. He catches pretty much everything that you throw to him. I would like for him to learn how to catch with his hands more than with his body.
Yeah.
But because if he keeps letting the ball get too close, and I can't tell an NFL wide receiver. He's in the NFL, so I can't tell him how to catch. But they're gonna with his frame. If he's waiting for the ball to catch it here instead of catching it here, they're gonna dislodge it with the hit. Mm-hmm. And so he doesn't have the NFL weight that he needs just yet. Mechie doesn't have his legs. So I will say this though. If behind them, I'm saying this. I'm keeping Nico and outside of Tank and playing Mechie, playing those guys. But Hutchinson and Wayne should get run. Jared
Wayne, that's my dark horse.
Yeah, he should get run. So that's the wide receiver. That's what I look at the wide receiver choir. There won't be any Jalen Camps. There won't be any Johnny Johnsons the third. Number 82's name, Steven Sims.
Quit, nobody.
Yeah, so
who do you think returns punts and kickoff?
Tank.
Tank
and Mechie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Desmond King will do it early on, but pretty soon it'll just be Tank and then it'll be Mechie.
Mm-hmm. All right, and my second question was, you mentioned far earlier in the podcast that AJ Cann was like a really funny guy. Who's the funniest guy on the team right now?
Laramie.
Yeah,
Laramie.
My God, Laramie's hilarious. And Laramie, he is hilarious, and he's just like, you know what I'm saying, right? I'd be like,
you stupid, man.
Like Chris, I'd be like, N-word, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And I just bust out laughing. He's hilarious. And as a duo, him and Titus together.
Oh, man.
Listen, because they're like brothers. And they will start arguing over anything. Don't let them be playing ping pong against each other. It's done. Second funniest person who is right there with Laramie, Dameon Pierce. Like,
yeah.
Because DP gonna be him. He gonna be himself always.
I love that.
Always be himself. You hear him say the other day about the running back market, and he was like, "Man, I don't know, man. It could be like the housing market of 2008." And then he gonna look at me and say, "Man, you keep making me laugh, man." I was like, "What I do, DP?" I talked to DP.
Yeah.
He's hilarious because he doesn't change. He's gonna be him every day,
regardless.
Yes, regardless. So them two is for. Malik Collins is hilarious. Malik Collins got that dry. He's funny, but he got like that dry bully humor. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
You know that old like, man. So because I'd be like, I'll ask him something. He'd be like, man, Sarge, you know you answer to that already. You trying to get me to say it, ain't you? Like, yeah, I'm trying to get you to say it. That's why I asked you the question. But I'll be backed up like this because
it's a big dude.
Big and aggravated. So yes, Laramie and Titus together, Dameon Pierce and Malik Collins. Every now and then, Roy get a couple in when he ain't doing his hair.
Roy Lopez.
Roy told me the other day. Roy passed by me and say, "Damn, Sarge, pretty cool out here, ain't it?" That's like. I start laughing because it's like 103. Say, so it's pretty cool out here, huh? And he just kept walking.
He said, "Yeah, because you're Mexican. You ought to know about that heat, huh?" All right.
I am not. Listen. I
ain't seeing
the opinions expressed on this podcast.
Does not reflect those of Big Sarge and Big Sarge Sports Media Incorporated.
Thank you, Sarge,
shout out,
man.
This has been another.
You're the best, bro.
This has been another great episode of the H-Town Rundown.
Sarge,
shout us out. Tell us where we can all find you, where we can find your articles, and you tell Texas Tailgate Talk and everything like that.
So you can find me. My podcast is Sports Talk with Big Sarge Podcast, available wherever you get your podcast from.
Damn.
you can also
put the other hat on, man.
Now I need them to see my name on this one, Chris.
Okay.
You know.
All right, I got you back.
Hey, I'm Southwest for a reason. So
all right.
You can also follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter.
X.
That's right.
At Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end, and on IG at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on TikTok, but full disclosure, right? Disclosure, whatever the case may be. My TikTok ain't all sports. So if you go over there, just say, "Oh man, I'm gonna get some great sports," and then you see a video I done made about, the insurrection, the indicted former president. Y'all be like, "Sarge, stick to sports." I'll be like, "Hell no, not on TikTok." So you can find me on TikTok at Big Sarge Media, and you can find me on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Big Sarge Media, and that's where the Texas and that's where the Texans tailgates are, man. And I just want to say to all of the guests that have been on the Texans tailgate, man, I really appreciate them taking the time, because that's done after we've stood in the heat for a long period of time, and people trying to get out of there so they can, go home and take showers and then go to work. So I appreciate that, and I don't know when I'm gonna, when you all are ever gonna be available, because I would love to do one after the game with some of the with some of y'all. And
you talking about regular season, preseason? I'm gonna be at every game, so
let's go ahead and pick one out. Hey, Mike, I used to live in Magnolia. I used to live in the back of the Woodlands, so I would just tell people if they didn't know where Magnolia was, I would say the Woodlands. But I actually stayed in New Magnolia. You could be on the tailgate too, but if you live in Old Magnolia and one of the sundown towns, I'm not coming, Mike. I'm just saying, because y'all already know how many of us y'all know already, right? So I'm not. If you live in a sundown town, Mike, I'm not coming. You don't live in a sundown town, do you?
No,
you live in North Carolina somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, you definitely live in a sundown town, and I'm coming to North Carolina, so. I'm coming for the Panthers Texans game.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming to that one.
Really?
Yeah.
So we need to meet.
Mike is married to Nia Long's sister.
What's up?
Mike, have I been misappropriating you this whole time?
Yeah, man. Mike's been putting it down for years.
You know Gary Owen, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a TikTok the other day say things I've learned. 3 things I've learned about being married to a black woman. 1, she is not the one. She is not the one.
Do not play with her
at all. 2 was something about seasoning, and 3 was she gonna always be late. So
yeah.
With that being said, this has been another great episode of the H-Town Rundown. This is your boy, the host, my co-host, C-Roll, Mike G, and of course, Jules, who had to log off because he had to go to bed, as always. Thank y'all for staying on this long. This is one of our longest podcast. And also shout out to our content winner, our giveaway winner, Jeremiah, who won 2 tickets to the camp tomorrow. And we will be giving away 2 tickets next week for the Dolphins training camp practice. So be on the lookout for that. Remember your keywords, and we'll holler at y'all later, man. But thank y'all.
2 tickets to the north side for Chris.
Come on down. Back then they didn't know. Now I'm hot. They all know me.
All right, thank y'all, man, and see y'all on the next episode, man. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Blessings, man. Blessings.